At the engagement, Marcus reserved the entire azure for me, promising a lavish engagement ceremony. He knelt on one knee and slipped the unique 10-carat blue diamond onto my ring finger. His eyes filled with tenderness. "Luna," he said, "from today onward, you are my one and only wife." The entire hall erupted in thunderous applause. But as he stood up, he slipped the blue diamond from my finger. Then, he turned and placed it on the hand of his childhood. "Chloe, I lost the wager," he said, his voice doting. "You can play with this ring for a few days. We'll talk again when you get tired of it. See? An engagement ring really does look better than other rings," Chloe said, raising an eyebrow at me defiantly. "Luna, oh, I'm so sorry, I'll just wear it for a few days, just for fun. I'll give it back to you when I get bored." Marcus wrapped an arm around her waist, giving her a doting smile. "Don't worry," he said. "Luna won't mind." I froze in place. Marcus finally noticed me. He walked over, trying to placate me dismissively. "It's just a game," he said. "You should be used to it." He was certain I would, as countless times before, pretend not to care, my eyes brimming with tears. But this time I simply looked at him. "Marcus, you can give her the ring. But I'm not playing anymore." The air fell silent as Marcus put the ring on Chloe's middle finger. Even the sound of the ocean waves in the open-air venue seemed jarring. Half an hour ago, Marcus had smiled and vowed to me that he would only love me for this life and forever. Now, because of that ring, everything felt absurd, like a joke. People began to whisper, "Why did Marcus take the ring off Ms. Luna's finger? Wasn't Marcus supposed to be engaged to Ms. Luna?" You wouldn't know, but Marcus and Chloe are childhood. They're always making wagers, so this is probably just another one. We're all used to it. "Oh? Ms. Luna doesn't mind?" "Ha, how could she dare to mind? The family is bankrupt, she only has Marcus left. She's practically begging him to take her." Each word pierced my ears, making my heart ache. I took a deep breath and looked up at Marcus. He wasn't looking at me at all. His gaze was tenderly fixed on Chloe. As if it wasn't me who had just gotten engaged. It was her. "Marcus." I looked at him, clinging to the last shred of hope in my heart. "Is it another wager? What's the stake this time?" Before I could finish, he cut me off indifferently. "I drank too much last time, so I lost." His voice was calm, as if he were discussing the weather. "Chloe said she wanted to wear the engagement ring, so I agreed. It's just a ring. A wager is a wager, and I lost. If you still want one, don't you have my black? You can buy as many as you like." Marcus spoke dismissively, as usual. Past events flashed vividly before my eyes, choking me. After I got together, his childhood, Chloe, was everywhere. They claimed they were closer than siblings, yet they still played childhood games, making wagers. But without me realizing it, the stakes had become me. Every time Marcus lost, Chloe would take something from me. When he lost at poker, he transferred the shares of my art to her. When he lost at truth or dare, they French kissed almost naked in front of me. Last month, during a staring contest to see who would laugh first, he locked me in the art studio for 3 days. Just because Chloe had said, "Isn't she a painter? Let her paint my portrait until I'm satisfied, only then can she come out." Marcus didn't care about any of this. He would just nonchalantly advise me, "Luna, we're almost married. We're one. Isn't it your duty to help your husband fulfill his promises?" I used to think he was right and silently endured it all. But now, my chest felt heavy and painful. I looked at the glittering ring and suddenly burst out laughing. Everything was so ironic. Marcus saw me like this for the first time. He froze for a moment and reached out to touch me. I dodged his hand, a sarcastic smile playing on my lips. "So this time, it's just because you couldn't outdrink Chloe, and she wanted the ring, so you gave it to her? That's our engagement ring. Do you really care so little? Marcus, when you drink with your buddies, aren't you invincible? And you couldn't even outdrink Chloe, who has the alcohol tolerance of a few beers. What a dedicated and doting older brother you are." Marcus's expression changed instantly. Chloe frowned and stepped forward, hooking her arm into his. "Luna, can't you stop being so ungrateful? Marcus and I aren't as dirty as you think. We have a pure sibling bond. Isn't it normal for siblings to tease and argue? We've known each other for so many years. If there was really something going on, you wouldn't have been in the picture at all." I shot her a cold glance. "And now I'm not in the picture either. The ring is yours, and Marcus is yours too." The air fell silent for a moment. The guests hushed, watching the unfolding drama. Marcus's eyes suddenly turned cold. "Luna, are you serious? Someone tried to persuade me." "Ms. Luna, don't be impulsive. Marcus is just a bit playful, but we can all see how much he loves you." "That's right, Ms. Luna. Marcus specifically reserved this azure for you, Ms. Luna. He just wants to see you soften up and act cute. If you say a few gentle words, Marcus won't hold it against you. You're already engaged. Who breaks off an engagement at their engagement? Fireworks still bloomed in the sky as I looked at Marcus. She can have the ring. But I'm not playing with you two anymore. After I said that, a huge weight lifted from my chest. Chloe looked at me triumphantly. Luna, do you know what our other wager was? It was to give your ring to me and see if you would make a scene. That's all it was, just a wager between Marcus and me. Marcus said you're understanding and definitely wouldn't mind, but I said you absolutely would make a scene. TSK, but it looks like Marcus will be disappointed now. Chloe raised an eyebrow. Luna, do you know what the stake for this wager was? I retorted, what? The choice of the bride for the wedding. Chloe smirked. I said I envied you, Luna, for getting to wear a wedding dress and marry Marcus. So, I won this wager. The bride for the wedding is me marrying Marcus. My fingertips trembled. I hadn't expected Marcus to be so absurd as to gamble away our wedding. It was truly laughable. Had he ever valued me at all? Chloe continued, but, don't misunderstand, I don't really want to marry Marcus. I just want to have some fun at Marcus's wedding. You're still the real bride. But, you don't need to attend anyway. Being the bride on your wedding day is tiring and troublesome. You can just relax, Luna. Her words were self-righteous and utterly shameless. Seeing her blatant provocation, I scoffed, I don't care, whoever gets married can. I've already called off the engagement. You two can do whatever you want. Marcus's face darkened. Luna, I never thought you'd be such a narrow-minded, dirty woman. It's just a ring. Is it really worth calling off the engagement? Watching them stand on their moral high ground, I laughed. Yes, it's worth it. Of course it's worth it. The entire hall fell silent. Marcus frowned. Then as you wish. Next month's wedding will proceed as planned, but Chloe will be the bride. He paused, then added a dismissive sentence that cut deep. However, you will still be the bride-to-be. And you must attend wearing a bridesmaid's dress. It was my turn to frown. No. Before I could finish, Marcus cut me off. He looked at me coldly. Your parents' dying wish was for you to become Mrs. Marcus. I imagine you wouldn't want to disappoint them, would you? I froze in place. Marcus knew how to manipulate my weaknesses. When the Jiang family went bankrupt, all of my parents' belongings were auctioned off. It was Marcus who spent a huge sum of money to buy them back. And now, they were stored in the Vance's safe. His meaning was clear, those things were in his hands. I had no choice but to obey, or he would destroy them. Chloe giggled twice. TSK, Luna, your biggest mistake was trying to threaten Marcus this way. Marcus only got together with you because he felt sorry for you after your family went bankrupt, out of pity. You're so ungrateful. My hands trembled as I took a deep breath. Fine, I agree. Marcus had hidden the key to the safe. That climate-controlled underground vault was where the only remaining possessions from my parents' car accident were stored. My mother's jade, my father's handwritten, their black and white from their wedding day, all were inside. Marcus had once knelt before me, his eyes full of compassion. Luna, I'll keep these safe for you. You can take them anytime. I trusted him, so I had entrusted everything to him. But now, he wouldn't even let me in. I stood in the foyer of the Vance, my fingertips cold, my nails digging deeply into my palms. Chloe was leaning against Marcus. She was wearing an off-white cashmere today, its neckline perfectly cut, her full breast subtly brushing his elbow, intimate and natural. Seeing me enter, she immediately put on an innocent face, her voice sickeningly sweet. Luna, you're here? I just wanted to play around in the wedding dress, so don't be mad at Marcus. She paused, tilting her head, feigning a wronged expression. I promise, after the wedding, I'll try not to make wagers with Marcus anymore, okay? I scoffed. That wedding dress was one I had spent 3 months designing myself. Its skirt was layered, embroidered with my favorite camellias, and had treated it as a wager's prize, offering it to Chloe. They clearly knew how important it was to me. I twitched my lips, saying nothing. Marcus stood to the side, his hands in his suit pockets, speaking slowly. After the wedding, I'll return the safe key to you. My heart ached instantly. I calmed my breathing and nodded. Okay. But during this time I'll move out of the Vance. Before I finished speaking, Marcus frowned. He strode over, firmly grasping my wrist. I told you, Chloe is just my sister. His voice was impatient. Why do you keep making a scene? Can't you just accept Chloe? Accept? I finally laughed. Accept you using my marriage as a wager? Accept you threatening me with my parents' belongings? Or accept you and your sister crossing the line again and again, challenging my boundaries? Marcus's face changed drastically. Chloe's eyes instantly reddened. Marcus, don't blame Luna, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have brought up the wager. Marcus patted Chloe's back, his voice gentle. It's not your fault. She's just too sensitive. Then, he looked at me coldly. Fine, move out if you want. But don't you dare regret it. I turned to leave without a second glance. Chloe suddenly called out to me, Luna. She wiggled the 10-carat blue diamond on her ring finger, smiling purely and innocently. I tried on your wedding dress, and the waist is a bit tight. Do you want me to help you make it bigger? After all, I'll be the bride then. I didn't look back. It had nothing to do with me anymore. I wouldn't wear a wedding dress to marry Marcus again. Moving out of the vans, I could finally breathe. But the next morning, as soon as I opened my eyes, my phone vibrated. Alex, the art assistant, sounded extremely anxious. Ms. Luna, the police are here. They say we're suspected of money laundering and are going to seal the art. What? When I arrived at the art, yellow caution tape was already strung across the entrance. 2 uniformed economic crime police officers stood at the door, verifying documents. Ms. Luna, the lead officer handed me a document. A $2 million remittance from America 3 years ago has been linked to a cross-border gambling and money laundering network. The receiving account belongs to your art's corpora T account, and the sender is anonymous, so your art needs to be temporarily sealed. I froze. That money, 3 years ago, Marcus had come to my aid when I was first starting my business. He had even personally signed the contract for me, dotingly saying, Luna, your talent deserves the best start. How could this be a problem? My hands trembling, I dialed Marcus's number. It rang 3 times before he answered. The background noise was soft piano music, and his voice was flat, getting straight to the point. I heard the art was sealed. There was not a hint of surprise in his tone. My voice trembled. Marcus, you sent that money. He scoffed, you want me to clear your name? My heart tightened. Marcus tapped his finger on a surface. I told you when you left that day, you would regret it. So, Luna, do you regret it now? A bucket of cold water was poured over me. The last trace of hope in my heart vanished, and I felt utterly cold. I lowered my gaze. Marcus, I never regret my decisions. He sneered. Fine, we'll see how long you can keep up that tough facade. The call ended. I stood outside the caution tape, watching helplessly as workers carried my paintings out one by one, packing them into sealed cardboard boxes. Among those paintings, there was my first award-winning piece, Spring, my mother's favorite, Camellia, and which I personally painted when Marcus first stayed up all night with me. It was his back. Now, they were all mercilessly tossed into boxes, like trash. Back at my rental. My phone vibrated once. It was a notification from Chloe's social media account. In the photo, she was wearing a champagne-colored haute couture dress, sitting on the art's leather sofa, smiling brightly. The caption had only 2 lines. Some things, after being kept for too long, should change owners. At Luna, thank you for your art. Netizens in the comments section left messages. I always said Luna's art was trash. Who knew it was involved in money laundering? Marcus is truly benevolent. His fiancée is in trouble, and he still hasn't called off the engagement. He's even willing to bail her out. What a good guy. Miss Chloe looks so good in that spot. She and Marcus are a perfect match. Marcus should just break off the engagement and marry Ms. Chloe instead. I clutched my phone, my knuckles white, my nails digging deeply into my palm. My phone vibrated again. It was a message from Marcus, as arrogant as ever. Come back, and I can give you back the art. I stared at the words and suddenly smiled. Everything he had done was to force me to yield, to make me bow my head. I slowly typed my reply. Marcus, do you really think I have nothing without you? My phone vibrated. He replied instantly, isn't that true? 5 words, light as a feather. In that moment, something inside me completely collapsed. I took a deep breath, blocked and deleted him. After doing all that, I quietly looked out the window. Is it true? That I have nothing without you? Then I don't want you either, Marcus. A few days passed peacefully. Then my landlord stood at my door, looking somewhat troubled. Ms. Luna, Vance, just acquired the entire building. They said you have to move out by noon today. I really can't do anything about it. My heart tightened. Marcus personally ordered this? Yes. Ms. Luna, I really can't do anything. It was sudden, yet also expected. Marcus always acted this way. Taking a deep breath, I nodded. Okay, I'll move out. I closed the door and began to pack my remaining belongings. The white cashmere was a birthday gift from Marcus. I touched it twice, then folded it. Finally, I picked up leaning against the wall. During their rough sealing of the art, the frame had shattered, and the paper itself was tattered. I carefully rolled up the canvas, tied it with a ribbon, and tucked it into a corner of the box. As I dragged my box out of the alley, a black Maybach stopped in front of me. The car window rolled down, revealing Chloe's exquisite face. "Oh, Luna, why do you look so disheveled? Even your suitcase is so broken? Do you need help?" I shot her a cold glance. This was their doing, how could she not know? She tilted her head and blinked. "Seeing you like this, Marcus is heartbroken. He specifically sent me to pick you up and bring you back. He said, as long as you obediently come back and cooperate with our wedding by being a bridesmaid, your gallery will be unsealed immediately, your home will still be a grand villa, and he can even get his PR team to suppress all those negative comments about your art. You'll still be the Mrs. Marcus everyone envies. How about that?" Such sincerity. The wind blew, and the chill went straight to my bones. I lowered my gaze. Marcus must be watching from nearby. And I absolutely wouldn't give in. "Thank for me. Tell him I don't covet the position of Mrs. Marcus, but I will definitely be your bridesmaid on the wedding day. I hope he keeps his word and gives me the key. However, I won't be returning during this time. Because you two make me feel utterly disgusted. So disgusted that even looking at you makes me want to vomit." Her face changed. "Luna, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit." I scoffed, picked up my suitcase, and turned away. Behind me, Chloe slammed her hand on the car door. "Luna, why are you acting so high and mighty? Without, your family would have been bankrupt and you'd have been living on the streets. Now you can't even afford food, and you still dare to talk back?" I didn't stop, scoffing again. My steps grew longer. I stayed in a dilapidated motel, costing $80 a night. It had rained for several days, and the room was leaking. But I felt more at ease and happier than ever, brimming with inspiration, drawing by the window every day. The wedding day drew closer. At 2 in the morning, while I was half asleep, there were 2 knocks on my door. "Luna, open the door." It was Marcus's voice. Why was he here? I sat up in bed, staring at the door, frowning. The next second, bang, the door was kicked open. Marcus stood at the doorway, his hair plastered to his forehead, wet. I smelled the strong scent of alcohol on him and defensively clutched the blanket. "What do you want?" "It's the middle of the night. You're trespassing. I can call the police and have you arrested." Marcus's gaze was fixed on me. He locked the door behind him. Sensing danger, my throat tightened. I quickly got out of bed, planning to circle around the foot of the bed and unlock the door. "You're hiding from me?" He grabbed my wrist, pinning me against the door. "You left the Vance so haughtily, and you spend your days hiding in this wretched place?" I looked at him coldly. "Marcus, get out. If you don't leave, I'll scream for help." He scoffed, leaning in. "Go ahead and scream. I bought this place. It's just the 2 of us in this entire motel. Who do you think will hear? Who would dare to save you?" He was using these tactics again. I frowned in disgust. "Marcus, have you forgotten that you're marrying Chloe very soon?" He paused. "It was just a wager. Did you take it seriously? It's just that she's the bride, you're still Mrs. Marcus. Can't you just tolerate her?" I said coldly, "Get out. If you don't like it, then I'll cancel it. Why are you still angry with me?" He lowered his head to kiss me, his breath hot. "You're just too stubborn. What's wrong with being a little softer?" "Marcus," I said again, "I don't love you anymore, and I won't marry you. After the wedding, give me the key, and we'll be even." Marcus froze. "How could that be? How could you possibly leave me?" "Marcus," I looked at him coldly, "do you think that no matter how you treat me, I'll just put up with it?" Marcus pointed to the corner. "Then why do you still keep that painting? You say you don't care about me?" He was referring to the I had rolled up with a ribbon, which depicted his back. I didn't answer. I slowly broke free of his hand, walked to the corner, and pulled a lighter from the bedside table. Click! A flame flared, and I held a corner of the painting to it. The painting was instantly engulfed in flames. Marcus's pupils contracted sharply. "No!" He lunged to grab it. I quickly stepped back, dropping the burning painting to the floor. "Marcus, this painting is the last time I will ever draw you." He stood rooted to the spot, stunned. Looking at him like this, I suddenly felt a sense of triumph. "Marcus, isn't this what you wanted?" The flames died down, leaving a pile of ashes. I opened the door. "I don't want to see you again. Let's part with some dignity." "Luna," he stumbled 2 steps, "do you really have to do this?" The night wind blew in, scattering ashes throughout the room. Chloe must have told you already. I'll be at the wedding on time, I said, not looking at him. After it's over, give me the key. With that, I didn't look at him again. I walked to the end of the hallway and knocked on the motel owner's door. Excuse me, sir, the room door is broken. Could I get a different room? Behind me, Marcus remained still for a long time. By the time I had moved to a new room, he was gone. From that day on, Marcus never appeared again. My life returned to an unprecedented calm. I painted in the small motel during the day and worked part-time at a convenience store at night. My life was frugal, but incredibly fulfilling. The day before the wedding, I received a call from an unknown number. It was Chloe. Luna, tomorrow's the wedding, and you haven't tried on your bridesmaid's dress yet. Her voice was sweet. I'll be waiting for you at the Hope Bridal under Vance. Marcus will be there too. I hung up and looked at the painting on my easel, almost finished. The scene depicted a sunrise, with golden rays breaking through thick clouds, spreading over the boundless sea. I titled it Rebirth. It was also my rebirth. When I arrived at the bridal, Chloe was already wearing the wedding dress I had designed, its layered skirt embroidered with camellias, looking beautiful, and was gently adjusting her veil. Standing together, they did look well matched. A sales assistant led me over and handed me a light purple bridesmaid's dress. Ms. Luna, this is for you. When I came out after changing into the bridesmaid's dress, all eyes fell on me. The sales assistant was surprised. Ms. Luna, this dress really suits you. Chloe's face was very unpleasant. Compared to the bride's wedding gown, the bridesmaid's dress was very simply designed, yet it perfectly highlighted the curves of my body. I hadn't even put on makeup, just casually tied up my hair. But in the mirror, Chloe's elaborate wedding dress was outshone by me. She bit her lip, unwillingly hugging Marcus's arm. Marcus, look at her. Marcus's gaze had been on me since I walked out. His eyes were complex, filled with admiration, regret, and a hint of panic I couldn't decipher. I didn't understand. Very beautiful. His voice was somewhat hoarse. Chloe angrily stomped her foot. Since when does a bridesmaid dress up more beautifully than the bride? Change it. She absolutely has to change it. I was utterly indifferent. Fine, pick whatever you want. Marcus frowned. Change what? It's just a dress. Marcus, you promised I'd be the most beautiful person that day. He paused, then tried to persuade Chloe. Tomorrow, you'll be the center of attention. You'll be the most beautiful. No one can steal your thunder. His words were somewhat pointed. Marcus took a call for the company and left the bridal in a hurry. Only and I remained in the boutique. The atmosphere grew tense, and the sales assistants discreetly left. I didn't want to get further entangled and planned to take off the bridesmaid's dress and leave. Luna, Chloe said, blocking my path with her skirt, I forgot to tell you, Marcus said that after the wedding, you won't need to step aside for Mrs. Marcus. I'll be Mrs. Marcus in name and in fact. I raised an eyebrow, then congratulations. Chloe smirked triumphantly. Actually, I should thank you the most. If it weren't for you, if it weren't for the Jiang family, how would things have paved the way for Marcus and me? Hearing the keywords, I frowned. The family? What do you mean? It's simple. Didn't you ever wonder why the Jiang family went bankrupt? My body violently shuddered. I looked up at her in disbelief. Bankrupt? Chloe, explain yourself. Chloe smiled, her eyes curving. Just another wager between Marcus and me. A wager? Another? My lips trembled. Chloe continued, back then, Marcus told me he loved you the most, that he would only love you in this life. So I made a wager with him, betting whether he'd react if he saw my body. If he lost, he just had to lift a finger and make the Jiang family go bankrupt. Chloe shrugged. So, you see the result. Marcus lost, and the Jiang family went bankrupt. I was chilled from head to toe, my fingertips trembling. The family project ran into problems, couldn't continue operations, and then declared bankruptcy. They were driven to suicide by overwhelming debt, just so they wouldn't implicate me. All of this happened simply because of a ridiculous, shameless, vulgar wager? React? It was utterly indecent. Chloe sighed. One of Marcus's greatest qualities is that he always keeps his promises to me. Luna, you really have you to thank for all this. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's wedding, with you as the most beautiful bridesmaid. Chloe finished speaking and then turned to leave. I looked up at my reflection in the mirror. My eyes blazed with intense hatred. On the wedding day, we all traveled to the Azure Marcus had reserved on a luxury. The wedding was grand and luxurious. Guests gathered, all wearing polite smiles. I wore the light purple dress, quietly performing my duties as a bridesmaid, handing over rings, adjusting the skirt, helping the bride with everything. But's gaze was fixed on me throughout the ceremony, burning intensely. I didn't know what he was thinking, and I didn't care. To read the vows, Mr. Marcus, do you take Miss Chloe to be your wife, to love and cherish her all your life? The air grew quiet. Marcus didn't answer. His gaze unconsciously fell on me. Everyone held their breath. Chloe's smile froze on her face, her eyes reddening. Marcus, I curved my lips, kindly reminding him, Mr. Vance, your wife is calling you. Marcus snapped back to reality, his body shaking. Finally, he swallowed, I do. The entire hall erupted in fervent applause. Chloe covered her eyes, overcome with emotion, and threw herself into his arms, looking up to kiss him. Marcus numbly accepted her kiss, but his gaze involuntarily found me. I was completely unfazed, turning away gracefully. Marcus, isn't this exactly what you wanted? The wedding reception began. I stood quietly in a corner with a glass of champagne, waiting for the task to be over so I could leave. Chloe, now in a reception, came over. Luna, you've really worked hard today. I glanced at her indifferently, saying nothing. See? I told you Marcus still loves me the most, she said, wiggling the wedding ring on her finger, showing off. Even if you tried everything to get Marcus's attention, he still married me, didn't he? I still said nothing. Chloe raised an eyebrow. We made another wager last night. To see if he would spend more time in bed with me or with you. Chloe covered her mouth and giggled. I didn't expect Marcus to be so persistent. This time, I lost. I twitched my lips. Another vulgar, shameless wager. Do you know what the stake was? Chloe said triumphantly. Marcus didn't make it hard for me. He just told me to marry him well today. He really loves me to death. I scoffed sarcastically. Oh? Does he really love you? I hope you're not just fooling yourself. Chloe's face changed instantly. With that, I was about to turn and leave. Oops, Chloe suddenly tumbled toward me. I froze for a moment, then heard a tearing sound. A chill spread from my waist. Everyone nearby turned their attention to us. The light purple bridesmaid's dress I was wearing had been torn by the diamonds on her gown, creating a long slit from my waist to my thigh. Everyone gasped, and other gazes immediately swiveled toward us. Chloe's face was filled with feigned panic, her eyes red. Oh my. Luna. I'm so sorry, so sorry. I didn't mean to, I twisted my ankle. Your dress, she apologized with her mouth, but the triumph in her eyes was practically overflowing. I looked down. The torn skirt barely covered anything. If I moved even slightly, I would be completely exposed. Guests whispered amongst themselves. Who is that? That's Mr. Vance's former fiancée, Luna. Isn't she the owner of the Moonlight? The one involved in money laundering? That's her. I can't believe Miss Chloe is so generous, she even invited her to be her bridesmaid. She's so ungrateful, trying to grab attention by exposing herself like that. Chloe raised an eyebrow at me, wanting to see me humiliate myself. The dress hung in tatters. I didn't care. I picked up a bottle of red wine from a nearby table and poured it over Chloe's head. You want to humiliate me? Then let's both be humiliated. Chloe shrieked. Luna, you, get out of the way. Marcus rushed over, forcefully pushing Chloe aside, frantically tearing off his groom's tuxedo jacket and tightly wrapping it around me. Luna, he roared, his voice trembling with emotion. Why didn't you move out of the way? You clearly did that on purpose. Then, he spun around abruptly. I'd like to see who dares to look at her again. This wedding. It's over. All of you get out. The banquet hall fell silent instantly, and the guests quickly left. Chloe was utterly mortified, a hint of panic in her eyes. Marcus. I didn't mean to. Marcus ignored her, his eyes red as he stared intently at me. I gently took off the suit jacket and tossed it onto the floor. I spoke calmly. What's the point, Marcus? It's just a jacket. Losing control like this will greatly embarrass your fiancé. I paused, then held out my hand to him. The wedding is over. As per our agreement, give me the vault key. He looked at me in disbelief. At a time like this, you're still talking about that? I cancelled the wedding for you. Didn't you see? I saw. I nodded, my tone completely flat. But so what? That was your wedding, not mine. From beginning to end, I was just a bridesmaid making a deal. Now, my part is done. Where's the key? Marcus stared intently at me. After a moment, he dejectedly pulled out the brass key. His voice carried a final glimmer of hope. If I said the position of Mrs. Marcus is still yours, would you come back? I can hold another wedding of the century for you. Anything you want. The key is yours, everything I have is yours. Please don't leave me. I suddenly found it rather laughable. I took the key. No, Marcus. You're responsible for everything that happened to the Luna family. What right do you have to ask me to stay? Marcus jolted, looking up at me in disbelief. I looked past him at Chloe, whose face was ghostly pale. And this is also thanks to your fiancé, for telling me about your shameless and vile wager. Oh, and congratulations on your marriage. I gripped the cold key, not even giving him a superfluous glance. I turned and, step by step, walked out of that absurd farce. Behind me, Marcus glared at Chloe. Didn't I tell you not to let her find out about this? Chloe's white wedding gown was stained with bright red wine, a jarring sight. Marcus. No. Marcus suddenly laughed. I've indulged you for too long, Chloe, making you think I'd tolerate anything you do. Don't you enjoy stripping someone's clothes? Marcus finished speaking, then raised his hand. Several bodyguards arrived. The sound of tearing fabric filled he air, accompanied by Chloe's screams. After leaving Azure, I went directly to Vance. I opened the vault. Everything inside was exactly as before. My mother's jade, my father's handwritten diary, and the happiest family photo, placed in the most prominent spot. For years, Marcus had kept these things for me. He gave me all his warmth and love, and also inflicted the deepest pain. I knelt down, gently touching the yellowed family photo. In the picture, my parents smiled brightly. If and I hadn't been together, they wouldn't have. Tears fell without warning. Dad, Mom, I miss you. After curling up for a moment, I suddenly made up my mind. I slowly stood up and poured it over those items. An acrid smell instantly filled the air. Just then, the screech of brakes sounded from the doorway. Marcus rushed in. Luna. He was still wearing the groom's tuxedo I had designed, though now it was somewhat disheveled. What are you doing? Are you crazy? Don't come closer. I looked at him coldly. One more step, and I'll douse myself in alcohol and burn this place down. Marcus abruptly froze. No. Luna, don't. His voice trembled slightly. Don't you cherish these things the most? These are the only things your parents left you. Don't be rash. If you can't take them, I can continue to keep them safe for you. No need. I smiled. You want to threaten me with my parents' belongings again. But this time I won't give you the chance. He lowered his head and pleaded, don't leave me. Luna. I've already punished Chloe. I know I was wrong. Whatever you want, I'll agree to it. Just stay by my side, I swear. I'll protect you well, and I'll protect these mementos. I looked at him calmly. And if I don't agree? Will you still use them to threaten me? Marcus's expression stiffened. I sneered. Marcus, you're always like this, thinking that if you grasp my weakness, you can do whatever you want. You and Chloe kept making wagers, using my vulnerabilities to where my bottom line was. You enjoy this, don't you? Marcus shook his head, murmuring, it's not like that. It's not. I really love you, Marcus. Do you really love me? He nodded frantically, as if clutching at a lifeline, more than life itself. Then why did you repeatedly use Chloe to make wagers, exploiting my weaknesses to test where my bottom line lay? Is that love? He froze. You just wanted to prove how much I loved you, over and over again, in this way. You never loved the real me, but the Luna you imagined, the one who would always cry for you, paint for you, and endure everything for you. His lips trembled, wanting to speak. The lighter clicked open in my fingers, and I released them. Marcus, let me go, and let yourself go. The lighter arced in a small parabola, landing on the alcohol-soaked carpet. Flames instantly leaped up. Marcus was completely panicked. He wanted to rush in but could only watch helplessly as those mementos turned to ashes. I didn't spare him another glance. I turned and calmly walked out. Alarm bells blared throughout the entire gated. At the same time, police sirens wailed. Those were the criminal evidences I submitted against Vance for tax evasion. I had inadvertently obtained them during Marcus's repeated wagers with Chloe. Back then, I loved him, and I covered for him. He had indirectly caused my parents driven to suicide by overwhelming debt. I couldn't punish him. But these pieces of evidence were now proving useful. Marcus, Chloe, you will pay for what you've done. I boarded a flight to Iceland. Some say the aurora borealis can be seen there. It's a place longed for by all who seek freedom. I wanted to pursue freedom. 3 months later, I received a text message from I donated all my Vance shares to the children's art, in your name. The investigation into Vance isn't over yet, but since you haven't returned, I surrendered myself. I don't ask for your forgiveness. I just want you to know, I truly, truly love you. I didn't reply. None of that concerned me anymore. Another 3 months later, news from the reported, Marcus, former heir to the Vance, has surrendered himself due to the group's tax evasion and was sentenced to 15 years in prison in the first trial. It is understood that he has refused all visits in prison. He is only requested to read one news report daily. Rising artist Luna holds Aurora exhibition in Iceland, her work Freedom sells for millions. And I, on the snowfields of Iceland, painted the final stroke. In the painting, a bird flies towards the aurora. See, the bird is free. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories. See you next time.